Welcome to our Housing Ambassador live session today. My name is Samantha and I am the graduate assistant for the Housing Ambassador program. And we're so excited to have you with us. Today, one of our Housing Ambassadors, Katie, will be showing you a renovated double in Jefferson Hall here at Ohio University on our East Green. So I'm going to pass it off to Katie to start our tour.
Thanks so much, Sam. Hi, I'm Katie. I work here as a housing ambassador at Ohio University. I'm a freshman year student and I'm also a journalism, news, and info major. And today I am here in the Jefferson showroom to give everyone a little glimpse of what residence hall life is really like at OU. So Jefferson is a fully renovated residence hall. I'm going to flip my camera so you guys can get a look at the room. It is a fully renovated residence hall, which means it has centralized air, the renovated desks, cabinetry, and then the renovated restrooms. I live in Washington, which is just a few over, and we do not have the renovated cabinetry, but I can honestly tell you that renovated does not mean better, it just means newer. You'll see the main difference is in the wood and of the height of the drawers. My top shelves up here are a little bit taller. I usually get a stool to reach them, but honestly, I'm only using about a third of the storage that I've been given. There's plenty. Another thing I just like to highlight is that these cabinet doors do this very fancy sliding thing, which I very much appreciate, but it's all personal preference because it might make it harder to put a mirror on there. So this is a standard double, and every standard double comes with a extra long twin bed for each resident, a desk for each resident, obviously the cabinet space, trash, recycling, and then they do come with the microwave and fridge units, which is super nice because not every hall has stairs. They all have stairs. Not every hall has a elevator, which honestly you don't notice, but you would maybe notice if you had to lug a big refrigerator up those, so it's just a really nice amenity to have included. The rooms are fully renovated and fully customizable, which means you can really move everything around and completely make it your own, and we really encourage you to do so. This will be your home for a semester or two, and it really should feel like that because there's nothing better than coming in and making it feel like a place that's really yours. One of the things I always like to point out on these tours is that one way the beds are customizable is actually the height of the beds. If you look along here, there's actually a way you can adjust the height and make the individual beds taller or shorter to maximize storage space underneath. And then you can also loft the beds, which you do not have to do for yourself. You go online and you can purchase a loft through Ohio University, and then two people come in, they loft it for you, and again, the height of the lofts are totally adjustable. They go from about this height to a lot taller, and these two people will just come in, do it for you. It takes about 2 minutes. It's super easy, and it's a great way to maximize space in your room. I will say, as a freshman student, I had a lot of curiosity about what living on campus would be like, and I have to say the size of the rooms has really impressed me personally, and also the amenities that they all come with. Again, the microwave and fridge are super nice, as well as every room comes equipped with Wi-Fi, Ethernet connection, and Cat Vision, which is the university cable program. Unfortunately, I cannot take you into the restrooms today, but we do have some handy visuals I hope you can see. The restrooms are very nice, and when you walk in, you will go on one side, there are all these stalls, and this is such a small thing, but honestly, it's important. I don't know if you can see, there's like no stall gap, and that's just a really nice thing when you're living in an area to feel extra private. And the other thing that is super nice and really helps add on to privacy, I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Pitch Perfect, but I kind of assumed that all of the restrooms would be like the scene in Pitch Perfect where everyone's in and out of each other's showers, but if you look, there's actually the shower area, and there's a small closet-sized space where you have hooks, places to change, get ready, and then this door locks in the renovated restrooms, which is super nice. The restrooms are a 16:1 student ratio, but honestly, that statistic very much surprised me. I don't see a ton of people in there at a time, and especially with COVID, they really do feel very safe. The restrooms are cleaned twice a day and deep cleaned at least once a week, and our janitorial staff here is absolutely lovely, and they do a great job, and I feel incredibly safe in the restrooms. And so if you'll come with me, we're now actually going to go look at the lobby area on this floor. I'm going to crack open the door for just a moment. Um, and so, I'm just trying to flip it. There we go. Every building does have some sort of nice study lobby area. It's typically on the first floor, but we are in Jefferson today, and their first floor is often open to everybody on East Green, which allows this particular building to have study spaces on every floor that are very similar to the ones you find on the first floor of any other building. Jefferson has very nice amenities on the first floor that are open to every student, and as you'll see, there's just plenty of spaces for people to study, hang out, especially with COVID and everything. It's a great place to be able to get together and still social distance. And that's a really nice feature that almost all of the residential halls have at different locations. I know in my hall, it's such a nice place. Everyone can kind of have their own table, and there's lots of windows. The natural light is amazing, and I absolutely love it. So heading back into the rooms, another difference between the renovated and the unrenovated is the centralized air. So you'll see right here, the only difference, both obviously completely do the job, but the renovated air is just centrally located, and then the unrenovated, you would have a boxed air conditioning unit in the window and then a heater hanging from the ceiling, which is what I have. It works just as well and just as nice. So as a freshman, I know I personally had some worries just coming, especially in the midst of all the crazy we've been having. I was worried about making friends without in-person classes. I was a little worried about just staying safe, and honestly, I've had such a wonderful experience here. It's very easy to meet people on your floor. Everyone is super friendly. I've even met people coming back from the dining hall. You just hold the door for someone, and then suddenly, oh, you know, Mason, who lives on South, and he, you know, is majoring in this, and suddenly you're just talking, because everyone here is genuinely very, very, very friendly, and that's one of the reasons that I decided to come here. I have really enjoyed just getting to know everybody. Even with COVID, there's so many opportunities to stay safe, especially I know today was a very nice day. It's been absolutely lovely here down in Athens, and everyone was out and about. I live about 2 minutes from here, and when I was walking over, I saw tons of people picnicking, throwing the frisbee, and there's so many ways to stay outside and stay safe. 6 feet apart, while also just hanging out with everybody, getting to know people, and people really are very friendly. And I know a couple people on my tours have been like, oh, I'm worried about meeting people, but there's been really great opportunities. I also know that the university has recently announced that they're hoping to switch a lot more to in-person classes next semester, which will be a great change. Obviously, everything's open to shifting, but if it's been easy enough to make friends, even without in-person classes and with a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of opportunities to not be in super populated areas, then I know next semester will be even better. And one of the nice things about Athens being such a small town and with plenty of green space is that it is a very easy place to stay safe. With all the college greens, there's so many places to be outside, and then since it's just such an isolated community, it's a lot easier to stay safe than in like a big city because it's all the same people. I know that I personally chose Ohio University. I have kind of a funny story on how I picked here, but I'm very glad that I ended up here. It's been a really great experience coming from, you know, 8 months of quarantine to just such a friendly, more and welcoming environment, and the housing opportunities that I have had living in the residence halls have been great. It's so great to meet people, and the rooms are actually a lot roomier than I anticipated. As you can see, they really are, like, this is a very standard size. I have experience in both a double and a single, and both have really impressed me in terms of just not being super cramped. I feel like a lot of times college living gets stereotyped as being super tight or super cramped together, and I've been pleasantly surprised just how open and comfortable everything is in the residence halls, which is super, super nice.
Awesome. Katie, we do have a question, and you touched on this a little bit, but if you want to specifically talk about it, we have a question about air conditioning and what that looks like for Jefferson. as well as all the other halls on campus. So if you want to touch on that again, that would be great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So east and west are completely air conditioned. It just depends on if it's renovated or not. And then south is the majority of it is air conditioned. Then the other ones are partially air conditioned. So what it would look like with renovated centralized air, it just has this small box on the side of the wall that you can control the temperature of. And then that controls your room. It has these vents here and here that you can make right now it's at 69 degrees. I don't know if you can see that. It's quite temperate and comfortable. But I live in a hall where the air conditioning is not centralized. And what that looks like for me is in this window. We have actually like one of those kind of old-fashioned air conditioning units. They work just as well, and then you plug it in. There's typically a plug like right around here, and you just plug it in when you want air conditioning. And then for heating, there's a heater that will hang from the ceiling. It's about like 6 inches deep maybe, and you again control that from a little box on the wall. So both are super easy. The residence halls are very comfortable and easy to use.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thanks, Katie. We did get a question in the chat, and I can answer this one. It's about if there is a dining hall in Jeff anymore. So there is not a dining hall in Jefferson Hall anymore. We do have a marketplace down there, which is really awesome. You can use meal swipes on there if you have the Flex meal plan, and it has lots of different things. It's basically like a mini convenience store and grocery store in there. So there's coffee as well as normal groceries. So like paper towels, toilet paper, different things like that. And then there's like a little place where you can get sandwiches made. But right now our dining halls that are open are Nelson Hall on South Green, as well as the district on West Green, which is located in Boyd Hall. So with that, Katie, do you want to talk a little bit about what meal plan you chose and maybe like your favorite meal that you have on campus?
Yeah, of course. So I have the traditional 14. The options are, I believe for first year students, it's traditional 14, traditional 20, flex 14, and flex 20. And the difference between traditional and flex means whether or not you get flex points loaded onto your card, and those just allow you to buy things at like coffee shops that are connected to campus, or like the markets where you can get strawberries with your flex points and stuff. I have the traditional, which means it just works in meal swipes, and I have the 14, which means I get 14 meal swipes a week. So I will go into the dining hall about twice a day and just swipe on in, and they have tons of options. I'm closer to Nelson, so that's the one I frequent most often, and they have 5 wonderful stations. They have Sunny Side Up, which is a breakfast area. They have sort of a grill area that has really good chicken nuggets. They had them this week, and I was ecstatic. They have sort of an Asian cuisine area where the orange chicken is really good there. A salad area that's typically a salad bar, I think, in other years, but this year, just with COVID and everything, they prepackage the salads, and they also have other things like fruit. Sometimes they have like salsa, guacamole, stuff like that. And then they have an Italian place with pasta options, and then they also have the pizza that's always open. The pasta is only open at dinner, and that's my personal favorite thing to get. They have really good Alfredo and meatless sauce, and they change the shapes of the pasta a lot, which sounds stupid, but like, you know, that's just like a small thing that is good to keep up variety, and the bow tie is my personal favorite. So I would say bow tie pasta with the Alfredo sauce, and then some of their garlic bread. That's really good. But I also have gone to Boyd sometimes. Boyd has a lot of options too. They have sort of like a carving station, another salad bar. They also have a noodles area, and then they have a sandwich shop. And oh my goodness, I believe I'm forgetting one. Sam, if you know it and you could put it in the chat, that would be great, because I unfortunately don't frequent there as often, and I think I'm blanking on one, but the food there is really delicious too. There's lots of soda options at both. Sorry, were you gonna help me out?
Yeah, so there's one station in there, and it's like a fully like allergen friendly section, and so it's like all gluten free, and if you have like different allergies, it's specific to those, and all of our halls can accommodate any allergies that you might have, but there is like one specific area that, no questions asked, all that food is allergen friendly.
Yes, thank you so much. I was completely blanking, but I know a couple people have told me, point up, that one of the pros of them choosing and coming to Ohio University is because the dining halls are very, very good at working around any dietary restrictions. I have a friend who's vegan and she eats just as much as I do here. She has plenty of variety and options as well, and I've even tried some of the vegan foods sometimes with her, and they're really good. There's plenty of vegetarian options, gluten-free, all across the board. There's a lot of ways that the dining hall is happy to accommodate you. And the staff there is genuinely really lovely. They always offer you plenty of food. They're very generous in their portion sizes, and I really appreciate that. The other thing that they have at Boyd that I always like to talk about, because it's one of my favorites, is they have Smooth Moves, which is a smoothie place run by the campus, and you can actually use meal swipes there, which is the program I have again. And one meal swipe will get you a fruit, a baked good, and then also the smoothie of your choice, and it's a really great plan. If you want to walk over there, obviously there will be a hall that is going to be close to you in proximity, and that's probably where you'll eat more, but both of them are very good, and both of them have plenty of variety and options, which is great. I've been eating way more here than I did at home, and I'm not complaining because the food here is really good.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Katie. So we got two questions. The first one I want to touch on, since we are in this meal plan idea, is about what kind of cash and credit that you can use at the different coffee shops and cafes. And so with that, you can use cash or credit. If you have the flex plan, then you can use your flex points, or you can opt into, if you want to use a meal swipe and trade it in to get things at the market, you can do that. And then you can also load onto your ID Bobcat Cash. And so this would just be like transferring money from like your debit card or bank account onto your student ID so that you don't have to carry as much cards around or things like that. And you can use that money in there as well. So you can do different things like that. And then our second question is about RAs in the residence halls. And so specifically how many RAs in the residence halls. And so with that, it just depends on the hall. Depending on the size, if it's a larger hall that, like for example, many of our first year halls hold between 100 to 200 students, depending on where they're at. And so for those halls, there's normally about 6 to 7 RAs. But for our halls like Bromley Hall, which holds up to 500 students, we normally do about 2 RA staff members per floor, and there's 9 floors. And so it really just kind of depends on how big the hall is. So those are great questions. Yeah, so is there anything else, Katie, that you want to kind of touch on, maybe laundry, for example?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the laundry situation is that a lot of the halls do come with laundry rooms in the building, which is just something that is available only for the students who live in that specific building. But if your building does not have laundry, like mine does not, there's always a giant laundry center that has about 40 to 100 different laundry machines on each green. It's completely open to everybody on the green to use, and that is what I use. And at first I was like, oh, like laundry house in the building, but it's like a minute walk outside. It's really not bad for me. I think for the average people, it's like 1 to 4 minute walks top. And as somebody who seems to always choose days when it's raining to do her laundry, and I don't even mind it, it's not bad to get outside for a bit and get in. And then the way you pay for that, they accept quarters, and then they also, again, accept that Bobcat Cash, which is the money that you can load onto your student ID. I have mine right here. And I know my parents just loaded some money on my student ID for laundry and also just for small things because, again, I didn't have the flex plan. And it's been working great for me. Laundry is not included, but it is pretty cheap. It's like $2.50 for the entire load. So that is a nice thing. I know some people, it's been an adjustment for a couple people I know here, like doing their own laundry. I don't know if parents at home still do that or not, but I know that I've been doing mine for a little bit now, so it's not bad. And even if you haven't, it's pretty easy to do. And the laundry rooms always smell really nice, which is nice. As for the question about RAs, all the RAs I've met are so lovely. It's honestly great. I went through the process of a room change. I want to clarify that she's a lovely person. We were just on different pages with COVID, and that is an advice I would give to anybody coming in. Just make sure you're on the same page about that because it can complicate things a little bit. Any other year, totally set, but I ended up switching into a single next door, so now we're just roommates in different rooms is what we're calling it. But my RA was incredibly helpful in that she went above and beyond, especially since switching rooms isn't necessarily the easiest thing to do right now, but because it was sort of a safety issue, I was able to make an exception. And she's just so lovely. She leaves her door open. You can come in whenever. She's super welcoming. When we all moved in, she held 10% at a time sort of in-person things so we could actually get to meet people. And then there was also an optional link where you could zoom in if you felt safer with that. And we all played a Kahoot where the winner got a gift card to Donkey Coffee. And I didn't just like luck out. Honestly, all of the RAs have been great. I know that coming in residence halls, it seems like scary to meet people, but my residence hall actually made a giant group meet. It's got 120 some people on it, which just means there's maybe 15 people who aren't on it in my entire residence hall. I had to mute it before I came on here because it was just blowing up, because it usually is, but we use that to plan all sorts of COVID safe, friendly residence hall activities. Like we did a trick-or-treat one where, because we weren't here for the fall, obviously for Halloween, so everyone got RA approved candies, pick up in the lobby, and we all stood outside our door and people spaced out, walked through the halls, dressed up. You got to meet people, everybody like took candy. It was very safely done, and the RAs were monitoring everything, and they dressed up too. It was really cute. So that's another thing. It seems like daunting to go into this building of, you know, like 100, 200 kids, and that you've never met any of them except for maybe your roommate. And but people just, everybody wants to get to know people. Everybody wants to meet everyone. Everyone wants to have friends. So people are very creative. And again, that's something my hall did. We just made an enormous group chat, and we text on it all the time. People will be like, hey, anybody want to come to Court Street with me? And a group will go, or we've planned other activities. There was like a hall bachelor series that people filmed for Valentine's Day. I think when it gets warm out, we're going to do a socially distant outside New Year's celebration. And I know other halls also have started group chats and like made sure everybody's super included. The reason that we have a group me is actually because the Snapchat group chat got too big, so we switched to group me so that everyone could be included. And that's just kind of the energy of the residence halls. Like everybody wants to be friends, everybody wants to do things together, and obviously you don't have to participate if you don't want to, but there's just plenty of opportunities for people to really get involved. And again, even with like a silly activity like that, like with the trick-or-treat, I know one of the RAs dressed up like an emu, and he was walking around like making sure everybody was being safe, but also like really getting involved in the activities. And I think that the RAs here do a really good job of balancing like fun and safety, and they are incredibly caring and super understanding. I've had great experiences with all the RAs I've met.
Thank you, Katie. That's awesome. We love to hear that. We do have one question, and then I'm going to have you do a run through of the tour again. The question is really, what kind of laundry soap do you prefer? So do you, can you use pods or just liquid detergent? What's your preference?
You can use both, and the ones here, I technically prefer the detergent, but that's not what I was sent with. My parents just gave me some Tide Pods, and those are a lot easier to do, so honestly, I would recommend those if you're bringing. I just like the detergent because I think it's fun to push the button. Like, that's a totally personal thing. I would recommend the pods because it's very easy to just carry one down here, but both work. Both are great to use. And then, yeah, if there's no more questions, I'm happy to run through the tour just one more time. Again, this is Jefferson. It's a fully renovated facility, which means the desks, cabinetry, air, and bathrooms are all renovated. And this is what it looks like. It's obviously been decorated for this. It does not come, unfortunately, with the bedding or the copy of this, the other woman DVD up there, but every room does come with 2 extra long twin beds. They're extra long. If you're shopping for sheets, make sure to note a desk for each student. Obviously the storage space, the trash and recycling, and then the microwave and fridge are included, which is super nice. The rooms are fully customizable, and we really do encourage you to make them your own, really make them feel like home. You can hang posters, although you do have to hang them on only 25% of the wall, otherwise it's a fire hazard, but you'd be surprised how much 25% really makes the room light up. One of the ways that the halls are customizable is the size of the beds. If you look right here along the side, you can actually adjust the height of the beds and maximize for storage. You also have the option to loft your beds. I will say there are a couple of circumstances where lofting is not an option. For example, the room I'm in actually has a slanted ceiling, so I couldn't loft my bed. But the super nice thing is that every hall online, they have the floor plan of it, which gives you the exact dimensions, where the closet is, where the window is, and whether or not it has a slanted roof. And that's a super nice feature, because if you go on there, you can exactly plan your room. You can talk with your roommate, really get things settled down. And another way to personalize the height of your beds is by purchasing a loft through the university on, I believe it's bedloft.com. And you can just call them. They'll bring up the loft. It takes about 2 minutes. People just install it for you. You don't even have to worry about it. And this is on one of the lower levels. They actually go a lot taller as well. And a lot of people use that to put their desks underneath. Some people put a futon and string lights, really just to maximize space. And if you come over here, I can also show you the restrooms. Unfortunately, again, I can't take you in there today, just respecting people's privacy and also with COVID and everything. But when you walk in, there are two sides. One side has sinks and all of these stalls, and then the other side has showers. And again, I always like to point out how nice it is that the shower is there, and then there's a small area, and then this door that locks, so it really does feel private, even though it's a shared facility. And yeah, Sam, I saw your mic go in and out. Is there a question?
Yeah, so we just have a question about the microwave and fridge, and so about everyone being provided that. And so yeah, that is something that we provide to every student, is the microwave and fridge unit. So you don't have to bring that. We do offer, if you have a dietary need to have an extra fridge, you can fill out a form and we can get an extra fridge for you as well, if that is something that you might need. But yes, fridge and microwave, we do provide that for you.
Yeah, and I gotta say, that is one of the nicest things I think about these rooms, is just not having to worry about that. Again, I switched rooms into a single, and it was super nice to not have to worry about setting that up. Again, also, if your hall doesn't have an elevator, then not having to carry one of those up the stairs is wonderful. One thing I'll say about roommates is these halls do have singles, doubles, triples, and quads, although the university, I believe, for next year is only having singles and doubles. We do encourage first-year students, although obviously whatever your comfort zone is perfect, and if you're in a single, there are plenty of opportunities to meet people. I will say I'm glad that I switched, because it's making both of our semesters just feel safer, but I do sometimes wish I had a roommate. I highly, highly encourage first years to at least try living with a roommate. It's such a quintessential part of the college experience, and it really is nice to have somebody to be able to do things with, to be able to go places with. I have a couple other girls who have adopted me as their third roommate, because we are just slightly on more of the same page, just COVID-wise, which is, again, unfortunately something people have to worry about. It's been such a complicated time. But the university has a really nice service for how you can meet roommates. My college roomie is an option as soon as you fill out your housing contract, and it's kind of like Match.com, but for roommates. And there's also Facebook groups you can join, Instagrams you can join. There's plenty of ways.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie. We appreciated you jumping in and giving this tour, and we hope everyone else did as well. But that is really the end of our session today. So thank you all for joining us. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to email us at housing@ohio.edu, and we're happy to help you out. So other than that, go Bobcats.